And here we go. It's another edition of CGCM Rock Radio's Rock Talk with Bob Bannister, where we talk rock because that's how we roll. Joining us today is Rusty Brown from the Australian band Electric Mary. Welcome aboard, Rusty.
Hey, nice to be on board. Hope you got a safety net.
Safety net, lifeboats,
Yeah,
all that
beautiful.
stuff. Don't ask me.
Swimming.
Don't ask me for oars.
No oars allowed.
That's right. Now, I am a relative newcomer to Electric Mary. It wasn't until I had an interview with Zars from Whiteford that he was telling about you guys. And you know what? I've done a deep dive into your back catalog, and wow, you guys are pretty rocking. I'm loving the sound.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on that kind of 70s rock, you know, way of existing. Um, we've been around for 21 years now. Unfortunately, we're going to call it quits in 2025, which is a real bummer, but you know, everything comes to an end.
Absolutely. Now, I am really digging your new single, "The Dealer." Uh,
Yeah.
that is just an amazing, amazing song. Do we have some more new music coming our way as well?
Yeah, well, it's probably getting mixed today, actually, as we speak, by the machine who's out of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that should be out come October the 30th, you know, about a month before our next show, which I'm really looking forward to. It's actually dedication to a friend of mine who passed away in July.
Mm.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a smacking little rock song, which is the way he would have liked it. No soppy ballads here.
That's kind of like the way I run my regular radio show. Just straight ahead, balls to the wall, no ballads.
Yeah. Say that
Okay,
again.
sorry. How different is this project compared to your other albums?
Um, this is more right now, and the way the music industry is heading. Um, it's more about songs. It's not about albums now for us. There's that many songs released every week. Um, you know, some may say it's the easy way out because you're just trying to deliver a song. But you know, if you want to deliver an album amongst another 100,000 people a week, I mean, you know, I just can't see it. There's a
Yeah.
friend of mine. There's a friend of mine using AI right now and doing 100 songs in 100 days, and you know,
Wow.
and they're all getting released, but none of it's real.
No, and that's the downside of AI. I mean, honestly, I'm not a big fan of it being in radio, and it seems to be that that's the way that more and more radio stations are going is an AI DJ instead of the real person. And you know, and if it's headed that way for the music industry, it really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's headed that way for the whole of life, really.
That's
We're,
true.
I feel like we're just too accepting now. We just accept that's what it's going to be. I mean, I even half said it before. Oh, we're just going to do songs now instead of albums because that's the way it is, and that's a real shame. Um, of course, another part of that is that we're self funded, so it's not that easy to do albums. So
True enough.
if I win the lotto, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm heading overseas and I'm going to find the best producer in the world and try and make a record.
There you go. There you go. And you know, exactly like you said, I've talked to other artists and they've said, you know, an album's just not economically feasible for us to do. That's why we keep
Yeah,
releasing singles. The record companies aren't coughing up boatloads of money like they did in the past.
yeah. Well, that used to be a thing that people would say, if you don't make an album, you know, we can't make any money, which is the record company, which is probably true. But I always used to think that I've thought this for a long time. I mean, the Beatles used to do it. Do a
Mm-hmm.
4 track or 5 track EP because I tell you what, if you're a live band, you're not playing 10 new songs. There's
No.
going to be songs that you will never play live. You
Yeah.
hear it all the time. Bands that have been around for 30 years go, oh, we're going to do this one. We've actually never done it live. Like, really? Yeah, so I figure if you do four songs or five, you actually can put them in the set list, and people that you want to buy your records will hear them live.
That's
People
right.
also get people also get scared of putting new songs in a set list. It's like silly. Like just give them a couple at least every show, a couple of new different songs that they can latch onto. And if they can't, if they don't have the mental capacity to stick around for 3.5 minutes, why are they even at a rock show?
Exactly, exactly. And there's a great video going around right now of Green Day, and Billy Joe comes out from the back of the stage. And he's like, "Come on, put the cell phones down.
Yeah,
Everybody knows you're at a Green Day show. Put the cell phones down and enjoy yourself in person while you're here."
yeah, yeah,
Exact attention span of a gnat.
yeah. I went to a show by Don Henley, and his
Mm,
his rules his rules were no phones.
yep.
If I see you put up phones, I'll just stop.
Yeah. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Now, like I was saying, I took a deep dive into your back catalog, and I was listening to your first album this afternoon as I was cutting grass. I do this thing called the lawn cut playlist, and
Right.
and I tend to get hooked on a song, and I'll just hit repeat and repeat and repeat. I got hooked on Crash Down. That song is just absolutely amazing. The way how it comes in, and the guitar and the bass are playing the same thing in the hook, and then it hits the solo. Very, very Hendrix like, I thought.
Yeah. I never
Yeah.
thought about that. It's funny. I remember writing that song in my old house, and the chorus actually didn't have the riff in it.
Right.
I just played chords because I couldn't sing that and play that. So I just had chords in it. And then I deleted the chords and I hummed something over what I think a guitarist could play. And that's the way that
Yeah. That
yeah, that's
is
how that chorus came about. Yeah.
that is
Actually,
infectious.
our bass player always says to me when I come up with a new riff, is this a mouth riff or did you play it on guitar? And I'll go like, nah, nah, it's a mouth riff because it's very hard if you go bum, it's actually hard to play that. It's easy to sing it, but it's not hard. It's not easy to play it to get that actual sound. But anyway, yeah, we've had a ball doing that kind of thing. Yeah, we don't play Crash Down anymore. I remember one time when we had a live video there, and I'm like, okay, we've only got 3 songs left, and we've only played for 19 minutes, or actually, it's 20 something minutes.
Right.
This will be interesting because I'd never thought about it before. And Crash Down on Your Head went for 19 minutes. And I was like, yeah. And I never got tired. I mean, I'm in the band, but I never got tired of any of it as I was watching, thinking, wow, look at what he's doing, what he's doing. And it's a great place for the guitarist to, have their say. When I first started this band, I said to Pete Robinson, the guy who's usually on if you're looking on the stage, he's on the right with the long dark hair and the goatee.
Mm,
Um, I said to him, would you be interested in forming a band like you would have formed when you were 15? He's like, what do you mean? I said, we just play. We play music that we like. We do solos. There's crowd interaction. We're not looking for a logo. We're not trying to get a record deal. We're just playing live. And that is the reason I think that we lasted for 21 years because we just played from the heart. I mean, Deep Purple, you may not hear Deep Purple in my songwriting. Like I feel it, I hear it. But Deep Purple when I was a boy was, my thing. I just loved
hmm.
everything about it. And I still love it now. I mean, Burns 50 years old and I still listen to it and go, yeah,
Oh
listen
yeah.
to that. Yeah. And remembering when they did that, Coverdale, David Coverdale, and Glenn Hughes, they were like 22 and 23. It's not like they're
That's right.
seasoned veterans and they're coming up with this singing and melodies, and yeah, it's just amazing.
And that is definitely one of those songs that when it comes on the radio, you definitely just have to just crank that radio right up. No ifs,
Yeah,
ands, or buts.
yeah.
So, like I've been talking about Electric Mary, why don't we get the backstory of Electric Mary and bring people up to speed a little more too?
Okay, so in 2003, I was the bass player of Erwin Thomas Band, who was also the guitarist of Electric Mary when it
Mm-hmm.
started. Um, we're in New York in 2003, and we met a lady named Mary Campbell, and she was the manager of Electric Lady Studios, which is Jimi Hendrix Studios. And so she invited Erwin to the thing, and he said, "Do you want to come?" And I said, "Nah, not really, man." And the next morning, I woke up before he'd left, and I went, "What am I talking about?" Of course, I'm going to Jimi Hendrix Studio. And when I arrived there, and Mary Campbell told us so many stories, it's like I said to him, I grabbed him by the arm and I said, "We're in rock and roll history here, man. We're we're part of this. These rooms have seen so many things, and what I didn't know is everyone that worked at Electric Lady Studios was called Electric somebody. So when Mary gave me her card at the end, she said, "Stay in touch. That's me down the bottom, Electric Mary." And I said, "Well, that's a good name for a band." And that's what happened. I mean, to me, that's the starting date, April 14th, 2003, Manhattan, New York City, whatever you want to call it. We didn't really get going until 2006 or seven because Irwin's band was still playing, and I was entrenched in that. Um, yeah, we basically just swapped roles. I became the singer of my band, and he became the guitarist. And I was talking to him yesterday. Actually, he hasn't been in the band for a while, but yeah, we still chat away about music and what's going on.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Mm.
And I see too that Electric Mary has shared the stage with some pretty big name acts: Priest, Alice Cooper, Whitesnake.
Yeah,
Is there an act
yeah.
out there that you'd love to share the stage with yet?
Ah, if I had my choice, I would have loved to share the stage with Richie Blackmore somehow, somewhere. Um, so I've basically done all of Deep Purple. So I've toured with Deep Purple, I've toured with White Snake. They took us to Europe. We've toured with Glenn Hughes, and we did a show with Ian Pace, the drummer of Deep Purple, just
Mm-hmm.
last year actually. So I've pretty much done it all with them. Is there? There's been a few more that I've done. I did a solo, few shows with Richie Kotzen. I don't know if you know Richie, but
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his. Um, uh, yeah, I don't know, man. There's so many good bands. I mean, there's so many good bands. We could be with anyone, I suppose. Um, yeah. Of the
Okay.
newer bands, I would suggest. Um, no, their name escapes me at the moment. Oh my lord, I shouldn't let it escape me. But they're very good. Um, I'll think of it after and tell you. Yeah.
Right on. But
Maybe AC/DC. Maybe
oh,
we
there you
should
go.
do a tour with AC/DC.
Now that would be
Yeah.
fun.
Get a little Aussie edge on there. Yeah, that'd be awesome, I reckon.
Your music scene though in Australia is booming right now. Like every time I open my Spotify and my YouTube music and everything, I'm seeing all these great Australian bands popping up left, right, and center. Why do you think bleh, let me take that question again. Why do you think the Australian scene is exploding like it is?
I think because we're actually not living in a great moment now, and I feel like that's why the English in the '60s came out from, that it wasn't a great moment, and they made it a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
And when the '60s music came out with the Beatles and the Stones, and then people before them, it was a whole scene of that. And I think that in Australia we're a bit low. Where I live, we were the I think we were the most locked down state in the world. We were locked down for a long time. So, man, I wrote over 130 bits during lockdown.
Wow.
Unfortunately, that phone got stolen out of my car, so I don't have any of that anywhere. But yeah, I was in such a while I was in a sad state of affairs, I was actually in a good place with music. I was just continually writing because that's what we did.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's that. Um, I feel like one of the reasons you may hear about it is because a lot of Aussies leave these shores now and head to Europe or America. But I feel like Europe, the most of the people I know, it's Europe. They go to Europe because it's, I mean, like we chose. Um, America's great. I've been to Canada before. I toured Canada a few times with my old band, and I always thought that was going to be my place because it's very like Melbourne in Toronto. Was like living in Melbourne.
Okay.
Where's your base?
I'm north of Toronto.
Right.
So
Oh,
I,
we
I
had this discussion. We
that
had the
that
discussion, did we?
that's right.
Sudbury and Barrie and all that. Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Sudbury is north of here and Barrie is east of here.
Right. Yeah, yeah. We did. There must be like a uni run that's there. I think we've
Yeah.
played a lot of universities in those areas, which
Yep.
was very cool.
Yep. Yeah, and the
For
Highway
electric,
400, the Highway 400 connects Toronto and Barrie, and then up to the Trans Canada Highway and across to Sudbury.
right. Well, it's funny. We were in New Jersey once at a place called Manville. We had to borrow two speaker boxes for a show. And as we were coming back, we took a left turn, right? We didn't know we were supposed we weren't meant to take a left turn, and it was a long weekend, so there's traffic everywhere. But we saw a sign that said Montreal, and we're like, "Oh man, we're way out of the way here." So we had to go underneath the bridge and back out on our back to New Jersey. Could you imagine being stuck in traffic in New Jersey or out of New Jersey on a highway getting to Montreal? You're like a
Oh yeah,
long way away,
yeah.
or am I? Am I a long way away?
Yeah, you are quite a long way away. New Jersey to Montreal, that's probably a 10-hour drive.
Right, there you go. Yeah, yeah. So the sign Montreal was like, yeah, yeah.
But everybody's got a song that's an instant pickup for them. But is there a song that you hear and it's not only an instant pickup, but it's one of those songs where you went, "Damn, I wish I wrote that song."
Easy. All right now by Free.
Great
Mate,
answer.
soon as that comes in, soon as it comes in, that, doom, that, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 and he lives in Canada now, Paul Rogers.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Yes, he does. That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Now, before we wrap this thing up, I like to do this little
You
thing that,
you you do have one of my favorite bands that come out of Canada too, Big Wreck.
oh, yes. Yes, Big
Ian
Wreck are
Thornley, man. Ian Thornley.
yes. Wow. They
Yeah.
are an amazing, amazing band. They don't get enough coverage here in Canada,
No,
unfortunately.
they get no coverage here. Nobody knows who they are. I
That
would guarantee you that if I could pull more people in Melbourne than they could, and I would look at that. I mean, we played at a place called the Corner Hotel, which we're playing at very soon. It's like our little home away from home.
mhm.
And I saw John Waite there. You know John Waite
Yep,
from the babies and everybody. And
absolutely.
he is just a phenomenal singer. Man, he
Yep.
was playing to 100 people, if that, if that. And I'm like, this guy is a Grammy Award winning.
Yeah.
He's the greatest. He is. I was watching him yesterday on YouTube from now 2024
Mm.
playing live. Someone just holding a phone up, and I'm thinking, do you actually ever sing bad? He is so good, man. So good.
Absolutely, he is.
But anyway, getting back to your question, yeah. All right now.
That
All right now. Long
is
version. Has to be the long version though, because the third verse has this little thing of it in it when he said, she said, love,
yep.
Lord above.
Absolutely.
No, oh, I just love it. And they're not old then. Like the bass player was 16 when he wrote that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Paul
I
Rogers is like 18 or 19 when he's singing it.
I actually think that 45 right there is that
Oh
song.
yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're just toying with me.
You know what? I have to admit, my uncle was a wedding DJ many years ago,
Right.
and he's since passed. And I inherited his record collection. Now that was a lot of 45s and stuff. It's like, you know what?
Nice.
I love my 45s and that's how I decorate my studio. I still play them. They're still playable. So
Well, funnily enough, when we finish this interview, I'm going to set up a record player. It's the first record player I've had in a long time, but it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago. So I bought my own present and then told my family, "Hey, here's what you're buying me for my birthday." So I'm going to set that up this afternoon, and I'm going to play. And the first album I'm going to play is Stormbringer by Deep Purple. That'll be the first album I play.
awesome. Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome, awesome. Now,
love that
before we
record.
wrap this up and you go and indulge in Stormbringer, I like to do a little thing on at the end of my interviews that I call this or that. It's just a
Yep.
series of multiple choice questions, top of the head answers, and see where we go from there. All right.
Okay. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
ready.
So the first question: cassette, CD, or vinyl?
CD.
Spicy food or sugary treats?
Sugary treats. I've got diabetes. Hey, why are
I,
you laughing? It's not funny.
I shouldn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just the way you said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sugary treats, yeah.
Iced coffee, iced tea, or ice cold beer?
Ah, iced coffee. I don't drink.
Okay. Pool, beach, or water park?
Or I've got a pool, so pool.
Video games, board games, or card games?
Uh, it would have to be video games, but I do none of them.
Okay. Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. Hawaiian pizza.
And finally, sometime down the road, they're making a movie of Electric Mary. Who
Yep.
plays Rusty?
Brad Pitt. It's the only way my wife would watch a show.
There you go. That is awesome. Hey, thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk, Rusty from Electric Mary. What's your website? What's your socials?
www.electricmary.com, and you'll find every social from there. I think our Facebook is Electric Mary Music, and it could also be our all the other ones as well. But if you go to electricmary.com, you will find everything on there, all the information you'll ever need, and some great photos that have gone down through time. So yeah, if you're out there and you want to search it up, have a look.
Very cool. And again, thank you for joining us, Rusty Brown, on this edition of Rock Talk.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome. And thank you, gang. And we'll catch you again next time on another edition of Rock Talk right here with CGCM Rock Radio.